Well, here we are then for a pretty big episode of the F1 My Team series. Now, this is going to be Aaron Barnes' last race. So, essentially, we picked up the action from the last episode of Hungary. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out because the race was insane. But today, we arrive here and I thought I would have a driver transfer market before this race. It turns out it's actually after Belgium, so we'll take care of that in the next episode / the end of this one. So yeah, overall we're going to jump into the weekend and we're going to do some activities first of all for this week, and not much going on. Realistically, it's not super important anymore because the acclaim's very high, and the driver we have as a second driver isn't really worth it. So what we are going to do though is upgrade the personnel and the fitness center to level 2, and this is for the future driver who's going to arrive, which, by the way, I'm speaking from the future here. I have signed him. I know exactly who it is, and I'm very excited about it. So I can confirm this is going to be Aaron Barnes' last appearance. Hopefully forever, but you never know. Something might go wrong and he might reappear at some point, but hopefully this is the last time we see him in this My Team save. So this weekend we arrive at Spa, a track which is notoriously tough because the AI are very fast around here, especially the fast corners like Pouhon especially. They are insane. So this weekend the car is slightly improved. We're neck and neck with Ferrari, but we've actually taken a step forward and we've just edged ahead of them. So we are now the 5th fastest team in Formula 1. So this is history for us right now and the highest we've ever been. The last 2 races, Silverstone and Hungary, the car has been improved and it's taken a step forward in terms of pace, and I could actually feel it being a lot more competitive. This weekend we've done all of our practice program targets, we achieved everything, so everything looks very good heading into qualifying, and we're now going to see if we have the pace to try and compete. Last season we had no pace around here. It was a really tough race weekend. So I'm hoping to have a better one this time out. So you join me at the end of my first lap in Q1, and we've got a bit of traffic ahead of us. I believe it's Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, and I think we're actually going to get a slight slipstream all the way down this straight as we gradually close up to him, and it's going to give us a bit of an advantage and a bit of a slipstream all the way down to the bus stop chicane before Carlos starts his lap. Making our way onto the brakes now at about 50 to 75 meters before the bus stop chicane. Important to get the rotation and then get the traction out of here as we end the lap, cross the line and set a 38.4, which actually puts us behind Leclerc and ahead of both Alpines, and that lap would actually be more than enough to comfortably get into Q2, which is very surprising. The pace in practice looked very strong, and qualifying 1 has confirmed it. We are 1.6 seconds faster than Barnes, which goes to show why we need to change the teammate. But yeah, car's working well and we've got very strong pace, so we are straight into Q2 very comfortably, just like in Hungary. And yeah, we're currently at the end of our first push lap. Now, I did invalidate, which wasn't ideal, but I actually decided to finish the lap anyway because I wanted to get a reference delta to aim for. Also because the lap was actually very good. We did a 38.3, which is 1/10 faster than our Q1 lap time. So I wanted to keep the lap going and just have a reference to aim for on this final lap. So you join me now on the final run, fresh set of tyres, and we're going to try and see if we can get into Q3. That's going to be the target. It is possible. We do have the pace for it, and I think we can achieve it. So we're going to try and send it and see if we can make it work. We're just currently trying to get a bit of space on track because we've got a bit of traffic coming through. Interestingly, not everyone has gone out. Only 5 cars have gone out there, so we've got a real strong chance here of making Q3. So let's jump into it. Let's go for a full lap and let's see if we can pull off a miracle here at Spa. And there we go, across the line. It's a pretty decent lap. It's not perfect. There was a couple of small errors, but it's an improvement of just over a tenth. But unfortunately, it's not enough. We finish in P12. Looking at the gaps, I think P10 was definitely achievable, P9 as well, on an absolutely perfect lap. But for sure, P11, we should have done that. You know, the pace was there and we made a bit of a mistake, a couple errors. But in general, the pace is really strong. The car is working really well. And I think the alternate strategy could be a real big advantage for us in the race. Going medium to soft could be huge. So strap yourselves in, folks. It could be a good race. And I think there's points on the table here today if we have a strong race pace, which we usually do. So let's jump into it and let's get the Belgian Grand Prix underway.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes Forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners, and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. I'm joined again today by none other than Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between the races. You've been both a test driver and a race driver. What differences are there in the way you approach those roles?
Interesting question, Crofty. They're two very different mindsets. I mean, when I tested for BAR, we had full in-season testing where, per driver, you'd cover up to 15,000 kilometres per season. And in that role, it was more about working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as you could, so that that data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When you're lining up on the grid for a race, however, your frame of mind's all about what you can get out of the situation on that day, and the car's the tool to help you achieve what you want. You still want to focus on setup, of course, but it's more about the here and now, getting yourself as far up the field as possible, and less about development work for the future.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Perez, Vettel, Stroll, Gasly and Charles Leclerc, Sainz, Martinez, George Russell and Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Ocon, Mick Schumacher and Christian Lundgaard, Latifi, Mazepin and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Now here we are for the race, and to be fair, I'm very, very excited about this. The car seems very strong around here, and it's the first time, I think, since at least F1 2019, the car has been really good on pace, you know, that I've actually felt good around here. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Now, for the race, you know, P12 looking pretty decent in terms of grid position. I feel like we've got a good car to push forward. Strategy is going to be important. So for this race, we're going to start, of course, on the medium. We're then going to switch to the soft tyre. No rain expected. Possible bit of overcast conditions towards the end of the race. Fuel-wise, I'm running 22.1, so slightly on the higher side, but we shouldn't have any fuel issues. And in general, I'm feeling confident. I want to try and score some points today. And for us to do that, we're going to have to be quite strong and quick on the medium. So let's see if we can make it happen and do a similar thing to Hungary, and we'll see if at the end of the race we get any points to show for it, and fingers crossed Aaron Barnes can try and find something in his swan song. Who knows? Either way, let's get racing. Okay, here we go. Lights are on. Looks like everyone around us is on soft tyres. Lights out, away we go. Ooh, nice. Good start. But we're on the outside though, which is not ideal. To turn one we go, trying to go the long way around. Looks like Russell and Tsunoda have got the jump on us though. Bit of a shame, but it looks like everyone is on a soft tyre, so I'm the only one on medium, so that might be a bit of an issue in the first part of the race, but we'll try and make it work as we now head onto the Kemmel Straight. Let's see, loads of people trying to fight for a slipstream here. Can we have a look? Tsunoda thinking about it on Russell. We're going to Brake a little early here and be a little bit cautious into Lecom. Russell and Tsunoda still going side by side here, so we may have a chance to get one of these places back. Oh, actually, never mind. Ocon's going to go for the little look up the inside here. I'm going to have to go very wide to try and hold on to this, but we don't have the grip Ocon has right now, man. He goes through and makes it work. Not much I could do about that. Just had no grip on the fronts. We'll see if we can fight it back down through Pouhon for the first time, picking up loads of understeer. Raikkonen closing right up to us here, but I've got just enough to stay ahead. Let's see if I can find a bit of pace in these tyres, because we're way off it right now and we're just going backwards as we're down to P15, which is not what I had in mind, but it does look like everyone's gone for the soft. So if our strategy works, it could be a good race for us as we get a warning for track limits. Right, let's try and survive. Once lap 2 is finished, the AI don't run full power anymore, so the race will kind of calm down a little bit. Easy does into the bus stop. I don't want to go for any stupid dive bombs just yet. It's only lap 1, so there's no need to rush. It's a long race. We've got to focus on trying to maintain our tyres for the second half of the race. Oh, we've got a yellow flag up ahead already. Someone's had an issue.
Caution.
I can see the car slowing down. We're closing in on Ocon here. It's Pierre Gasly blown up.
Okay, clear.
We're going to go up the inside. Will it be an illegal one? No, it isn't. We timed it beautifully. Gasly out of the race. Again, though, no safety car by the looks of it. That was a beautifully timed move, though, on Ocon there. We just waited for that brief green flag, and we managed to get the move done. So we're up to P13 now. 2 places gained at once due to Gasly's DNF. So very decent. Let's try and close the gap, though, and get back within a second of George Russell here. We don't want to drop out of the DRS train. That's going to be so important for us this race. Purple sector 3 there as we used quite a bit of battery. I've managed to actually get within a second of Russell, and I think I might just drop Ocon out of DRS range here. I don't think I have. I think I need to do it a little bit sooner, but we've managed to get back within a second of George, using quite a bit of battery to get the job done, but we're now back in the race. So all we've got to do now is stick in the DRS train, really. There's no rush. If we're all in a train until the pit stops, then we've got to try and push and clean it. That's going to be the key phase for us. As Ocon and Raikkonen are battling behind now, so we can afford to drive away now and get a bit of a gap to those guys. So the DRS train has kind of broken up a little bit, and Tsunoda right now just can't keep up in P11, so it's not ideal. There's another little break in the pack just a bit ahead, I believe, but the big one is here. So Tsunoda doesn't have DRS on the Ferrari anymore, so we need to try and close this gap a little bit. So I'm kind of relying on Russell to make a move and make things happen, really. That's kind of what we need right now. I'm just chilling, I'm waiting, I'm going to be patient, wait for the right moment, but we can't afford to lose too much time. We need to start making things happen now. And I feel like, to be fair, it looks like George is a bit slow here. I may have a little look. Let's see if by me trying to go for the move, I might force him to use some engine mode here and have a look at Tsunoda. Here we go, into Lecom. We're both closing in. Not quite able, though, to get the move done yet. I'm going to have a look at Russell here. I'm going to drain my battery. The AI don't usually use ERS on this back straight, so we may have a chance to close in here. Bit too much overspeed as I have to get off the ERS a little bit there, but here we are, challenging to the outside of the bus stop, which will give us the inside through the left. And there we go, we're through. Let's go after Tsunoda now. Let's try and get him as well at the same time, so we're going to line him up for the Kemmel straight. Some of the cars ahead are actually slowing down here, so this overtake could prove to be key before Tsunoda gets back into DRS range. I think they've been battling, losing some time. The train is breaking up further up with the Aston Martin here, so this move of Tsunoda could be key to get the slingshot to rejoin that pack of cars, but crucially for us to be in P11. Here we go. Tsunoda doesn't have DRS. We're going to use our battery here to get this one done. Stay on the racing line, make it easy for us. And we're through, purple sector 1. And there we go, P11. We can now crack on after the Ferraris and the rest of the top 10 as we get a second warning for track limits now, so we've got to be careful for the rest of the race. Using quite a bit of ERS here to see if I can drop Tsunoda, and I have done. He's now over a second behind. Hopefully we can drop him after the detection point. We've got Bottas here, who's stuck in this pack on mediums. So yeah, these guys are battling quite heavily right now, but we are well and truly in this race. One of the McLarens is in the pits, that's Ricciardo. Oh my god, that's a bit of an accidental dive there. I didn't mean that, but he broke so early. I tried to avoid Leclerc, but avoiding, I actually turned it into an overtake. So here we are, side by side. Drag race with Leclerc. Oh my god, this is going to be so scary. Going to have a slight lift side by side with Leclerc, Oppo, Rouge and Radeon. Fantastic stuff. We've both got DRS, but I'm going to try and edge ahead now. Here we go. Making the move on the Ferrari. And we're ahead. And we can take the line into Les Combes. Whew, that was a scary sequence that was, but loved it. Really enjoyed it. Sainz next in the other Ferrari. Let's go after him. I think Norris may have damage. He was battling with Bottas and he's really holding up the pack now. Bottas is completely driven away, so I think Lando may have damage. Perez looking for the move on him now, I think. Something's not quite right, but I'm expecting cars to pit this lap, so we'll see what happens. I'm having a look here at Sainz around the outside of Blanchimont. Oh yes. Oh no. Wow.
Will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Let's just try and drive through it. We're making great progress right now and I feel really quick, so we can get through that penalty, I think. Lovely move, Sainz and Stroll there. We've got them both. Lando pit as well. That's a bit wide there for me. I'm going to get all crossed up into turn 1, which is not what you want. Going to have to drain the battery here to get close to Perez. Let's use Sergio to try and drag us along. I think we may even get him actually. We're quite far back, but the overspeed is going to be so big and we need to keep the ERS on because Stroll is breathing down my neck, so we need to keep the engine mode on. Now he's dropping back so we can relax. Right, let's see what we can do then. What I don't want now is a safety car. That's going to ruin my race. We want the field to spread out, things to open up, and that way the penalty won't affect us. So for once I'm actually asking for no safety car, and we haven't had one in ages, so I hope it stays that way. Max Verstappen in the pit lane, so Perez will stay out for at least one more lap, which is good. We can follow him and just stay in his DRS. The rest of the AI should be pitting though. I think Hamilton's leading out front on mediums. And yeah, everyone else behind has pit. So let's see, Ricciardo fastest lap. He's already caught up to us quite a lot. So that pit stop from him, that very early stop, might put him in the race as Aaron Barnes pits. I think I'm going to pass Perez here. Why not? May as well use the overspeed to set a faster lap. Here we go. Let's use the ERS. We've got quite a bit of it. And there we go. Job done. Up to P3. Let's see if we've got any pace in clean air. These are going to be some crucial laps for us now. Before we pit, we need to try and set some personal bests if possible. So I'm going to get my head down and push on and see if I can find a bit more pace in the car. Perez pits. Ricciardo's still out there. We set a personal best by about 2/10. Pace is pretty good right now. Car feels great, so we're going to keep it going. I'm not letting Bottas get away too much here, so this is going pretty well so far. Whew. That was a bit of a snap there. Ricciardo now on the back of us here, so it won't be long before he looks to the move. He may even go for it here, to be fair. Yeah, here he goes. I'm going to let him go. I'm not going to waste too much time running a different race to him. He's looking pretty strong to win this race, but then again, he's probably on a 2-stop if he's on soft tire right now, so interesting strategy from Ricciardo. Let's try and stay within his DRS. I think I can do that. Well, we're out of DRS range, but Ricciardo actually pits for the second time, so that's interesting. Quite an early second stop, quite aggressive.
We want to pit this lap, so push now.
That was quite a strong lap from us there. 4/10 up on my personal best. That was using quite a lot of battery. We're going to push again though. This is the lap, so let's try and see if we can drain that ERS a little bit and find some pace. Okay, let's drain the battery and box this lap. Soft tyres on, and we're going to see if we can make them work. I'm expecting Hamilton to pit, so Bottas may have to go for an extra lap, and I think he will. So we may have potential for an undercut here. Let's box now and see what happens. Into the pit lane, trying to maximise everything and lose no time at all. I think the penalty won't affect us too badly this race. Depends on this final stint, obviously, but I think we've really done a good job of getting ourselves into the race based off raw pace alone on this medium tyre, and now if we can switch the soft on and not overheat it, we're going to look pretty good. We've got Sebastian Vettel now just crossing the start-finish line, so let's see, the turn 1 pit exit is going to benefit us. It's a slow stop, 2.7, I needed 1.9 now.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Drifting away out the pit lane. We're going to be ahead of Stroll. That's fine. P7 already. Still behind Perez like before. Right, well let's see then if we can make this tyre work. Let's make a few moves. Let's try and stick with Ricciardo. That's going to be the target. He's currently making a move on Sebastian Vettel, so let's closing on that and make some progress here. Oh, we've got a flag, I think yellow behind.
Green flag.
Another warning as I was just looking at the top left of the screen. but I think we've lost someone. Not sure who it is, as Ricciardo's made the move on Tsunoda. Oh my god, the grip through there was insane. So both AlphaTauris out of the race, as they retired earlier. Tsunoda out now, so big fat 0 for AlphaTauri. That's massive for the constructors because we're battling them right now. Let's close up to these three though. Let's have a look then, see if we can make a little double overtake here. Sebastian Vettel and Perez, both at the same time, that would be nice. And then slingshot onto Ricciardo ideally. Got plenty of DRS to use. I don't think Seb will have DRS on Ricciardo, as there's someone even in the pit exit. I think that's Bottas, yes it is. So Bottas rejoining ahead of us. That's going to give Seb DRS, which is not ideal. But let's try and go for the move on Perez anyway. Here we go. Up through Raidillon. Carrying the overspeed. Honda versus Honda, but look at the speed we've got as we pull alongside the Red Bull. Meanwhile, Bottas going through on Ricciardo. Up the inside on Perez. Tries to keep his nose in, but we've got that one done. And Bottas ahead of Ricciardo for now. Let's get past Seb, who's next. I've got so much grip, man. It's absolutely insane. Here we go. Up by 7/10 on my PB. We're now going to pass Sebastian Vettel. We're going to drain my battery and get him here before we even get to the DRS line. To the outside at Blanchimont for the second time this race. Seb trying to fire back, but we get it done. Up the inside, and we're through. Let's go with Ricciardo now, and hopefully he can pull us away. Personal best from us by almost a full second. Being quite honest, I don't really have the pace to drop Ricciardo, so I'm going to try and race and work with him to see if we can pull away by 3 seconds to Perez. That's going to be the target because Perez is currently stuck behind Sebastian Vettel. So let's try and work with Ricciardo and see if we can get that gap that we need, and that way the penalty won't affect us. I still think I'd struggle to finish ahead of Ricciardo anyway, because as the race goes on the soft tyres are going to fade. So into the 39s, let's just try and run with it. I'm going to try and pass Ricciardo here on this lap and use my battery and kind of force him to yo-yo with me and pull away from the cars behind. So hopefully that made sense. It happens a lot in league racing where you work together to pull away and drop away and, you know, break DRS and stuff. So we're going to do the same thing here to try and get that 3-second gap. So you can see Ricciardo's using a lot of engine mode right now. We're barely making a scratch on the straight, but now we're going to start to pull him in. And there we go. We're through. Let's see if we can use the clean air and the soft tyres to push a little bit. I think I'm actually going to drop Ricciardo out of DRS range here. I'm going to keep using the battery to try and increase the gap. But I think we're just about going to drop him out of the 1 second window. If we don't, it's going to be very close, but this is a great lap from us, so let's see what it is compared to Bottas. He doesn't set up fast as that, Bottas. We're going to come across the line. 39.2, not fastest lap, but purple in sectors 1 and 3. Pretty decent, and Ricciardo now is out of DRS range, so
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
let's keep pushing. We've got loads of DRS, so we can keep going. It's just literally, it's not even being used. It recharges so fast now, we can just keep draining it pretty much. So let's keep pushing and let's see how far we can take this. But if we can finish P4, that would be insane this race. The gap is still going up, but I don't think we've got enough. I'm waiting for the AI to turn up their engine now at any moment. And I think Ricciardo will gain that back quite quickly. So I think we're going to have to settle for P5 today, unless a miracle happens and Ricciardo's pace still continues to drop off, which I don't think will happen. Here we are then. Last lap of the race. And job done for us. Ricciardo closing in, but he's too far back to make anything happen. But still, he's going to gain it on the penalty. Hamilton wins. But what a performance from us. The pace this weekend has been insane. We've definitely turned the corner since the last race in Hungary. The upgrades have worked and the car is massively improved, but now we need to improve the second driver as we round off the race in P5 here today.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they persevered to take the win here today. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So confirmation of Hamilton's win for Mercedes, and he extends his championship lead, and that is a massive result for him. Fast lap as well. He's looking very good for another World Championship and making it 9 titles in his career. Verstappen P2, Bottas P3 for Mercedes, Ricciardo once again the top McLaren in P4, Norris only P10 for the second race in a row. Norris having a bit of a poor weekend, and McLaren just dropping off the pace a bit in the last 2 races. We finish in P5 though, ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who's P6 for Aston Martin. Perez, Stroll, Sainz and the aforementioned Norris round out the top 10. Missing out on the points, Leclerc, Russell, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Barnes, Schumacher, Latifi, Lundgaard, Mazepin, and then both AlphaTauris out of the race. Aaron Barnes in his final F1 race finishes P16 in the second car. So we're going to look at our Drivers' Championship, where we've done back-to-back points scoring results, which is massive for us, and we are still in the top 6. Verstappen does overtake us, but still we're in the mix. And to be fair, the battle for P2 is on. I think we can achieve that. If we keep improving the car, P2 is achievable in the World Drivers' Championship. In the Constructors though, we are still P5, and we have a nice healthy 32-point gap over Ferrari, and then 33 points ahead of us, Aston Martin. So we're kind of, just slap bang in the middle, chilling there in P5, and I'll happily take that. So yeah, job done for us with this race. We're now going to move into upgrades. Now after that race, we managed to pick up a point on Perez. Obviously he will always outscore me in qualifying, so 1 point to him in qualifying, 1 to me in the race means it stays exactly the same, so a 4-point gap between us. In terms of acclaim, not much has changed. Barnes levelling up very, very slowly, and team acclaim wise, not much going on. Now in terms of sponsors, we should get a full payout, which is awesome, so we'll see that cash come in, or maybe not. We didn't do the interviews, but still decent, a decent bit of money there. And no damages for once, which is awesome, so we get the 400k bonus. So yeah, cash wise, cash is an issue for us, but still back over 20 mil after improving the simulator earlier on this episode. Well, the moment has arrived, and we need to sign a new teammate. I'm going to save that for the next episode. We're going to do some admin work first. So yeah, we're going to get this out of the way. So we'll go for some power team building, as we're not going to work on Aaron Barnes anymore. And yeah, but we'll save this for the next episode. Let's go for the upgrades though. 1,600 points to spend. We've got 2 aerodynamic ones on the way, so we need to add to that. And we're going to go for a chassis one this time, if we have anything decent available. Cockpit weight reduction, 800 points. Tire blankets. Yeah, why not? Let's go for the cockpit weight reduction. Let's get that on the car. And also, we've got some freebies as well, actually, which I need to show you guys. So on the durability, because we've done so many practice programs, Energy Store, 0 points, 100% discount. So we're going to do that for free. That won't cost us a penny. And I think we've got a few other big ones. The gearbox reliability there, that's pretty cheap as well, so we'll go for that as well. Only 150 points. And I think that's most of them. We've got the MGUH here, 406 points, we can do that as well. And that's it. So yeah, some decent upgrades, some pretty cheap durability ones, and we're looking good. But we'll pick things up in the next episode, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed today's one. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and as always, check out the 2 videos on screen, and we'll see who the teammate is next time round. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.